and with some massive social impacts. And what we see today is very much around the next stage in our journey as we open this facility on this site today. And this is a site that's really important to local people, and we really recognise that in terms of how we started to think about what we're doing here. Our vision was really 2 years back to think about how we could really break some boundaries in terms of developing a really proactive approach to care and support. And we've worked very closely with Blackburn and Darwen Borough Council, who've been absolutely fantastic in terms of wanting us to come into the borough and to develop care and support that's right for this borough as opposed to a standard off-the-shelf product, and that's really important. And we've started to think over the last 2 years about how we can make a difference. And what you see in the service today is really our answer to that question. How can we make a difference to the lives of people in this borough? What we bring together in this facility is a dementia-friendly environment, both in terms of its design, its ethos, and its person-centred approaches. And they are really important. It's not just a building, it's what happens within that building that becomes the real essence of what we're trying to do. And it's also got a really significant focus upon community engagement, which is consistent with where our original aims were, but also consistent with what we can do working intelligently with communities in a way that meets the strategic commissioning needs of this borough. And I'm very familiar with that because I used to be the Director of Commissioning for it. But there's no connection between me being Director of Commissioning and us being here today. Just in case anybody was thinking but what EachStep will do, it will serve as a hub for community engagement, and it will be shaped by the interactions of the community. So what you see today will develop. It will shape and be shaped by what community engagement really means, and that's really important. Our aim here is to allow people to live lives to the full, connected with the communities that they're part of. It's not the end of their journey. It's a facility, it's an environment which will allow them to maximise their potential and work continually with the communities that they've been part of. And you'll see that, hopefully, when you go around the facility later on. It'll be about keeping people in touch with communities, tapping into the asset base that's in communities. And I understand a lot about that from working and indeed living here. The sense of community connection becomes important because people can be really isolated in care homes. You can get care homes that just plonk themselves in various places and people are not connected, and it's not a fulfilling experience for them. And we're aiming to do something different in this space, and that's really important. We know that when we tap into local community resources, a bit of competition there, when we tap into community resources, we can do incredible things, and we've started to see that, and you'll see a little bit of that later on. The other thing for me, and I think this is a sense of where the personal pride comes in, is that what we will do on this site will serve as a national model for excellence. And I'm not just saying that because you'd expect me to say it, but the way we've been working and the way that we will continue to work will help to build and put Blackburn with Darwen on the map for all the right reasons. And that will be really important. There will be people that will want to come to look at this facility from across the UK and from an international perspective. And I genuinely mean that because we've seen that with some of the other work we've done in other communities. So that will be definitely a significant feature. What we've done here is to welcome the connections within the community in terms of our neighbours, and I think that's important. And it's really significant that working with people like Ivy Street, who a lot of people know and respect in the borough, has been really important. They've been absolutely fantastic. We've supported them and they've supported us as well, and that's the sort of relationship that we're aiming to get. Linking in with the community, using the assets, but also putting something back. And that's an approach that not all providers do, and it's something that I feel passionate about because I really feel passionate about communities. And I know from previous experience some of the work that Ivy Street do, and it's absolutely fantastic. When you walk around the home, you will see how it's trying to bring together different environments and different memories for people. That becomes important in terms of good quality dementia care, connecting people with things that are relevant to them in a way that allows them to interact and develop full lives. And you'll see that. One of the things that we've also found is with some fantastic support from people like Blackburn Rovers Community Trust. You'll see what they've done today. There's some really, really fantastic stuff there, because the Community Trust and the Blackburn Rovers are really important to this particular part of the borough and the neighbourhood generally, and you'll see what work we've been doing with them. People have opened the doors to us. The Blackburn Rovers have opened the archives, and you'll see aspects of that as well. But it's also allowing people to connect with their passion. So for people in Blackburn with Darwen who feel passionate about football, this particular home will allow them to connect back into there with the links that we've got with the Community Trust, and that would be great. What we've also done now is we've also been able to create some opportunities for young people. We've done some fantastic work with Tapleadle Girls' School. We've done some fantastic work with Blackburn College. Thinking about development placements, thinking about opportunities for talented students. And in the work that we've done so far, we have met some of Blackburn with Darwen's social care stars for the future, and that is really important. There is a lot of talent in this borough, and that's what we want to aim to support and develop. Partnerships become really important in terms of the way we're approaching dementia itself. We've done some really, really good work with Age UK in Blackburn with Darwen. And also we've begun to start to develop some flourishing links with Blackburn Darwen Carers Centre as well. And that becomes important in terms of an ongoing partnership. So it's not just about getting people in at the start, it's about what you can do and what you can make of the facility as it goes forward. So we're celebrating the community. We've named our households after members of the community that the community think are important. We haven't just picked perhaps what you might describe as perhaps some of the people that you might think are some of the superstars of Blackburn with Darwen. We've engaged with the community. They've told us who they want to recognise in the households, and that's what we've done. And we'll be celebrating that today, and as you walk around you'll see that vibrancy. And we're trying to be as inclusive as we can, recognising that this is a very diverse borough. I miss that diversity when I go out and about in some of the boroughs that we serve elsewhere. But with Blackburn with Darwen, you've got a magnificent asset base here. We've done some fantastic work with One Voice, and I've been really, really impressed with One Voice. The way they've approached, they've welcomed us into the community, they've helped us understand parts of the community, and they've helped us to shape our response to the care and support for that community in relation to community needs, and also how we might start to encourage people to use a facility like this in a way that perhaps they haven't done in the past. And that's really, really worth celebrating, and we will be able to develop some really good profiling work with that based on genuine outcomes. We've also really tried to think about how we've captured the memories of the site and the memories of the heritage of this site as well as the heritage of the community. So we've buried time capsules as well, which reflect the background to the community and how that works. And again, that's just part of an approach, I think, where we're aiming to engage meaningfully. The other thing that we are doing here is we're thinking big. So we're thinking beyond a building, we're thinking beyond the heritage of the site. And when we've been thinking big, we thought about the model of care and support, something that people might not be fully au fait with, but we've selected Helen Sanderson Associates, and Helen's there, to work with us and to develop the model of care and support. Helen works nationally as well as internationally, and what we're trying to do is to develop the best support we can do here based upon national and international best practice. And it will genuinely, and I honestly mean this, be worth coming to see from across, because what we do is taking the best ideas from elsewhere and starting to work that in terms of our model of care and support. So it will be genuinely groundbreaking, so it's not just a building, it's not just the heritage of the site. We're really serious about that, and that's why we've engaged Helen, and that's why we've also engaged with the charity that Helen supports, which is Community Circles. If you're interested in finding out more about that, there's a display downstairs for people to interact with. So that's again connecting people into communities. So we're really serious about that approach. It will not stay static once everybody's left today. Community partnerships will continue to develop. And that's about allowing people to realise their passions and dreams, because that's what it's all about. So we're committed to partnerships, and we're hoping that the way we're approaching that will also help as a way to drive up quality locally as well. So there's an element about this being a model, this being something for others to get around and develop and support as well. One of the other things that does need to be mentioned today is just about the quality of the building. We've done some really, really good work with L&T Group to develop this building on this site. And anybody that's developed a building in a climate like there is in East Lancashire deserves applauding, because it's not always like this, as the developers will tell you. But this stuff is state of the art, really. There is no better facility in the north of England than the one that you're standing in today. Certainly there's no better facility with the views. And one of the things that I think is fantastic about this building is that you can see both ends of the borough from one place. So you can see down there into Blackburn, you can see, for those of you that's not local, the thing that looks like a rocket on the hill is in Darwin, and I've made a climb up there as well. And that's partly about bringing this borough together. So you can see two aspects of the same borough from the one building, which personally I think that's great, but I just turned on by that sort of thing, really. So the other thing that I think is something that you'll see when you walk around is we've added our own touch of inspiration. And one of the people that does, there's a couple of people I'd just like to mention from our team. One's Joy Bard. Where's Joy? She finished sweeping up outside. Joy has worked tirelessly to help from an interior design perspective with the development of this building. She's worked creatively with Carbon Creative, who've done some fantastic work. And John Hughes, who stood over there, has also been instrumental in bringing today together. So there's a lot of effort gone into trying to make this day special. The one thing that I would mention, and it does need to mention, is this site. This site, as I said earlier, means a lot to local people. It was built to provide care, healthcare, support, and in its latter stages started to decay a bit. So we're really, really pleased to be on this site, just given its heritage. And I remember way back in June 1992, when I first came to East Lancashire, but it was the other end of the motorway, so I'm not allowed to mention that. I decided one evening to have a drive over to Blackburn, because I've never been before. Well, I did once in 1984, but I came all the way over, and I came to the infirmary because I wanted to see where our consultants worked. I'd never been here before, and I was struck by two things. When I came, there was a coat of arms, there was a nameplate, and that coat of arms and that nameplate sit outside. And I don't think there's another care home in England that's got the Royal Coat of Arms and seal of approval sitting in the front garden. but we have done that, and outside there is a memorial garden that reflects the heritage of this site. But within the nature of this community, for anybody that knows Blackburn, and I do because I come here quite regularly, it's a community that's in touch with its past, but you'll see regeneration. What's happening in Blackburn Town Centre with investment in health buildings, investment in college campus, investment in the cathedral quarter, it's a vibrant place. It's a vibrant place where people, partnerships matter, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that we're part of that on this site. And that's a definite heritage that we want to build on in the same way that we do with wanting to make the site a genuine beacon for the Ewood area of the town. I would just like to finish, and the good news is I am coming to a conclusion now, is that one of the greatest partners that we've had in this endeavour is actually Blackburn and Borough Council. We've had some fantastic support from the Borough Council, and that's nothing to do with any of my previous relationships. I've stood well back from that. But it's been a true partnership where we've had shared risk and shared vision. Some of the things that this borough has done in the past has been really ambitious, and I've actually been part of that, and that is one of the proudest things I've ever done in my career. But we've had some fantastic support from the adult social care commissioning teams. We've nicked a couple of their staff as well, I have to say. We've had some fantastic support. We've had some great support from public health, and I've had some good conversations with public health about setting outcomes for this service, so that it's driven by outcomes rather than just a building on a regenerated site, which is very much part of what's happening. But we've also had some good support from local ward councillors, which again is integral to community engagement, and there's a couple of people there that have really been helpful. We've had some good engagement from Councillor Desai, the elected member for Adult Care. It's great that the Mayor's here, so welcome to you. And also from Mohammed, who has been really, really supportive of what we've been doing in this project, which is fantastic. And I've got to mention Harry for all the effort that he's put into this. And the one thing that struck me the other day that just shows the power of a local authority chief executive is we've got the message that Harry had lifted the parking restrictions. I can do nothing in my role in that space. That is true power. I wish I could do that, but thank you for that, Harry, because I'm sure it's gone down well. And thanks for the police for cooperating with that as well. So finally, I would just like to thank everybody that's been part of this from our organisation, for our partners, and everybody that's played a part in making today possible, and for what we're going to be doing on this site. And it's absolutely a splendid thing, which I'd like to commend to all of you. And now it is a great pleasure to be able to introduce Mohammed Khan, Leader of the Council, who has kindly agreed to say a few words. Thank you very much.